Hello and welcome to the Tuesday, March 17th, 2026 meeting of the Litchfield, New Hampshire Planning Board. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we will start with the roll call of members present. Jared O'Connell, Vice Chair.
Letha Riley, member.
Steve Gannis, Selectman's Rep.
Russell Blanchett, member.
Jesse No, alternate.
Travis Tucker, member.
Okay, and we also have Joan, our Planning Board Administrator. We have an alternate, and we have only 5 voting members today. So, Jesse, would you like to participate in voting today?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So you will be a voting member today. Public input on non-agenda items. Does any member of the public wish to comment on items that are not on our agenda? Seeing none, we can move on to item 1 of the agenda, which is Finnegan Fence application for an exterior wall-mounted sign at 457 Charles Bancroft Highway, tax map 20, lot 18-1. The sign will be internally illuminated. Measurement is 24 inches overall height. Area is 54.8 square feet, 35% of the building length. Owner is 457 Charles Bancroft Highway, LLC. It has been re-notified due to the meeting cancellation. Okay, is the member or applicant present?
Yes,
Okay. Would you like to speak about your application?
absolutely. Well, good, I'm going to say evening at this point, everyone. My name is Jason Gagnon with Sousa Signs here on behalf of Finnegan Fence. We are here before you to see if we can have a externally illuminated with halo illumination wall sign approved for the design. This is a second rendition, if you will. We had gone back in front of the ZBA board for a slightly larger sign, and that was ultimately denied. So this is kind of the scaled down version, if you will. It meets all of the sign aspects as far as criteria for the linear length of the building, as well as the square footage. So exterior wall sign is going to be, like I said, it's a internally illuminated, so it's going to be a front lit, which means the acrylic lens will have light shine through. But it will also have the aspect of the halo illumination, which casts light out the back of the sign onto the building as a halo or a drop shadow. So, I mean, very simple sign, but if there's any questions, please ask away.
Okay, thank you. So this
You do have
is
a letter from Jay. You have that on the portal, right?
yep. So this is something that has to be accepted and approved.
Yes.
Okay. So based on the comments on from Jay, everything is present. Are all the fees and all that
Fees
stuff
have been paid and abutters have been re-noticed.
Okay, sounds good. So I would like to entertain a motion to accept the application, which is not approving, it's just accepting it for completeness.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have an approval and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the application, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstained. Motion passes 6-0-0. And next, this is pretty straightforward.
Abutters comments?
Have we gotten any comments online?
No, not online or no written comments, but there are abutters here for whichever sign.
Is there anyone that would like to comment before we open this up to public for comment?
No.
Okay. Would any members of the public like to comment on the application? Okay, seeing none. Any further discussion by the board?
As long as Jay's okay with
Jay's
it.
letter.
Yep, I can read Jay's letter, since that might be helpful for those here. I have reviewed the application for this sign. The height would be 23 and a half inches, which is below the maximum height of 2 feet. And the proposed length of the sign is 28 feet, which equals 35% of the length of the building. Therefore, the proposed sign meets the requirements of the section 1503.01B of the zoning ordinance. So, looks like it follows all zoning. So, any further discussion?
Just one curiosity is, the sign be lit 24 hours a day, or is it gonna be, scaled back at night? What's the overall plan? I know we do have some abutters that are here. They're not speaking up, so I assume they're in favor of it. They do not have an issue. It's just for my own.
Yeah, no, very good question. We usually don't recommend signs to be illuminated 24 hours a day. With the monument sign, I believe that thing is on a time clock.
Okay.
So the same system would probably be applied for the wall sign. So it would be on, from dusk to more or less not. I don't know what time it's off at now, but I would assume probably 10 o'clock, 11 or so.
Okay. So it would not be illuminated all night long. There'll
Cor-
be a certain time. it'll shut
That's our recommendation and the intent, correct?
Okay, and yeah, I think it would probably make sense for it to match.
In the back.
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
That's my building, and it would certainly be shut off some 9, 10 o'clock would actually probably be late. So I don't think that should be any concern to the residents. They're not looking to have it burning at 3 o'clock in the morning.
off. Thank you, sir.
Is it going to be matching the hours of the business or just whenever it makes sense? to
Business
them?
isn't gonna be open late at night, okay, but probably 6 to 8 o'clock depending on the time of the year. But again, with the activity across the street, I would like to be able to, at least have a presence in that regard, but it's certainly not gonna be, late at night. I would think 9 o'clock actually probably be on the later end. And if it turns into an issue, we're certainly willing to talk to whoever.
Okay, and what's your name
Anyway.
for the minutes? Thank you. And any
That's
further
all I have.
discussion?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, would someone like to make a motion to approve the application?
Mr. Vice Chair, I will make a motion that we approve the Finnegan fence application for an exterior wall-mounted sign at 457 Charles Bancroft Highway, tax map 20, lot 18-1, with an internal illumination and the dimensions as specified.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. Any second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to approve the sign application, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed or abstained? Motion passes 6-0-0. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
So next on the agenda, we have another sign. It's an application for a sign at 461 Charles Bancroft Highway, tax map 20, lot 18-3. So this is basically right next to the other one. The sign will, so this is owner 461 Charles Bancroft Highway LLC, Jolt Electric, sign to be internally illuminated and mounted to the building face. Measurements are 84 inches wide by 24 inches tall or high. Okay. Is the applicant present?
That would be me.
Would you like to speak about your application?
Yeah, my name is Michael Gallagher with Spectrum Signs and Graphics on behalf of Jolt Electric. Basically the same as the previous sign that was proposed. It's going to be internally illuminated. It meets all ordinances. There was an update, which I did bring the design drawings along, though I'm not sure that it's going to look too much different from what you may have. Would you like for me to distribute these?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Share, I would say, is gonna be sufficient.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We could share one.
Yeah, we can show. And if I may, Mr. Vice Chair, a comment to the public at home who's listening, watching this, and also our audience here. We do have files, that last application that was before us. We were looking at a visual of the sign, so I didn't want anyone at home to think we weren't. We were just blindly accepting. Typically, we would have it up on the screen up there, but it's currently not, so I apologize for.
No, not a problem. That's
interrupting.
actually why I wanted to offer to
Yeah.
pass these around. So, the main difference from the design that was submitted in the application to now is that it's going to be a halo illumination, same as the exact sign. It's going to be a very soft glow. This is actually from pretty close up to the building face from the right of way. It definitely will not be as dramatic. And it meets all ordinances, 2 feet at maximum. It's 14 square feet total. And I believe all the butters have been notified as well.
Okay, thank you. Joan, are all the requirements
Yes.
taken care of?
Abutters notified, fees are paid.
Okay, thank you. So, I guess, looks like everything that's required is there. So would someone like to make a motion to accept the, application?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to accept the application, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed and abstained, motion passes 6-0. So yeah, this looks like a pretty straightforward application, and it appears to meet all zoning ordinances. Any discussion by the board?
I would have the same question as the last one, the hours of illumination.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Right now, we don't have any restrictions on it being powered off during off hours for the business. The intent of a halo lit sign is to be visible at night with that backlight. If there are concerns, we'd certainly be willing to have a shut off. I believe I saw the ordinance is 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., but we would be certainly willing to accommodate any other kind of requests before that time. I believe everyone's out of the building by 9 as well, so if so be it, we could do that.
Yeah.
And Eric, the owner, has been a long time resident of Litchfield, and he's more than willing, I'm sure, to accommodate any neighbors that may have an issue.
Certainly a really nice guy.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you would also not recommend that the illumination be done 24/7 for the lifespan of the sign, probably.
So we're actually graded to have the sign on 24/7 without any detrimental impacts to the longevity of the sign. But again, if there were concerns, then we would certainly address those. That's not an issue, especially Jolt Electric. They're going to be pretty handy in any kind of regard to the lighting situation. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further comments from the
I
board?
just have a comment on that time of the sign, that where building sits back, and this is not a very big sign, that it would almost have a presence if the sign was on, that people were there, that, to dissuade any kind of problems.
That's initial intent, but for a halo lit sign is for that nighttime hours to be visible. So, again, thank you.
So let me understand correctly then, if I may. So the ordinance says that it has to go off between 11 and 7?
I don't recall that in the ordinance, but
I've been doing a lot of permitting between here and Londonderry and back and forth, so it may be Londonderry's permitting ordinance that actually says that, but
Okay,
I
well,
don't think
maybe we
that's in
should
ours.
double check that. But I mean, as you're gonna be neighbors with, you're neighbors with Finnegan Fence anyway. I imagine the timing of illumination would probably be pretty similar, so.
and we are outfitting it with a timer as well if needed, so we are prepared for that in the case that they would like that to be shut off at a certain time.
Yeah. Like, this is a commercial section of town, but we definitely would recommend not having it on 24/7. But that's just a personal recommendation, not what the ordinance says. Okay. So, do any members of the public wish to comment on this application? Okay, seeing none. So we definitely a question to look into our ordinances on what the illumination hours are.
Yeah, it only applies to off-premise signs.
Yeah, there's nothing in 15 to 1503 that has hours.
Okay. Well, like most things, we want to be sensitive to the neighbors in the area, so
Mhm.
I'm sure you'll do that.
I think the intent is 9 PM,
Mhm.
ideally.
Yeah, that would make sense. And if you go a few hours beyond that, just to, for the Mel's, to awareness for Mel's customers, that might make sense. But yeah, keeping it on after all the neighboring businesses are closed doesn't make much sense, but that's not a requirement. Okay. Any other comments or questions, comments, concerns by the board? Okay, in which case,
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the sign at 461 Charles Bancroft Highway, tax map 20, lot 18-3, owner 461 CBH LLC, Jolt Electric. An internally illuminated sign, building mount with dimensions specified.
okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Oh, second.
We have a second by Jesse. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the sign at 461 Charles Bancroft Highway, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed and abstained, motion passes 600. Okay, thank you.
Board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have stormwater management and MS4, and for that, I think we have our town administrator.
Good evening, Kim Kleiner. So here I am back again. As the board, I'm sure, remembers, a couple of years ago, we worked with Nick Cristofori from CEI on some regulation changes due to stormwater management and MS4 regulations. This is really the second part of that. Once we concluded that review, we were required, we're actually about a year and a half late, on doing an LIDGI and an impervious cover creation review. So part of this is the 2017 permit requires that you go through all your ordinances and your regulations, and you look for areas where you could incorporate different low-impact design models of stormwater management. In order to do that, as part of their contract, their 2024 contract, CEI started this review for us. So we waited. I got this last fall. We waited, realizing that we wouldn't have the time to really put together some discussion and movement in time for town meeting this March. We now have from now until about September to have some discussion over what CEI has found and what they recommend, to incorporate that in our MS4 report for October 1st, and if necessary, make any changes in time for town meeting in 2027. So that's kind of the time period. We included a chart that Mr. Cristofori completed, going through all of our existing regulation and our ordinances and his recommendations. Before bringing Mr. Cristofori in, I so much want to say Nick, because that's what I say every day, we thought it would be better to give it to the board so that you could have some discussion. I know Mr. Minkara, because NRPC works on stormwater also, he may have some other suggestions. There are other towns. Amherst has done a great job with this, so there are partnering NRPC towns that we can look for additional language from. Road Agent Brown and I have gone through the recommendations. We have some concerns already, more related to the paving, and the size of driveways and that, things of that sort, which they recommend that you cut down, your paving areas. That's one of the recommendations throughout the MS4, quite frankly. But because of our existing equipment, that creates challenges for us. So I think there's going to be a lot of discussion. This was really just bringing it forward so we could start those discussions, and whenever the board would like, we're happy to bring CEI in to have more formal discussion. But I think that looking at the other towns, working with NRPC and Mr. Minkara is probably a good start. And certainly I can answer any questions if the board had any right off the bat.
So are the like driveway ones that you're talking about and the pavement ones related to like the site design one shown in the assessment that is sent?
Yeah, so when Road Agent Brown and I were reviewing them, we were particularly concerned where, you know, currently the roads are 24 feet due to the size of our plow. We have concerns with going to 18 to 22. And how have other towns addressed that? That was one of the questions that we have for CEI. We thought if we created more of a well-developed list so that we're not going back to CEI piece by piece, that might be, we do have a contract aligned for this year with CEI, so they're certainly available to assist us in any way. The other concern was, you know, when you talk about this alternate paving, what is the makeup of that material, right? And how does that hold up in our New England weather and with our existing equipment? And so we just want to make sure we do our due diligence. Some of the other, you know, when you start talking about, you know, gardens and rain gardens, and I mean, that's worked into a lot of towns' regulations. I'm not sure how much use that gets, but some towns get working up, like they advise that you build up and not out. Well, we have existing concerns about that. You know, we keep the rural culture of our town. So we want to take all that into consideration. So we thought if we got a comprehensive list of all of our concerns together, then, and Mr. Minkara's suggestions, then we could bring in CEI and have a discussion. We have to, at least for the MS4 permit, to satisfy that, we have to have gone through this procedure and adopt some recommendations. So you have to have some low-impact design written into your ordinances.
Yeah, regarding some of these requirements, it definitely looks like a lot of it's hard to enforce because a lot of it's up to the site builder, and if they want a bigger driveway, it would be hard to stop them from building a bigger driveway, except for the road, the cut to the road. And alternative pavement, that seems theoretical.
Yes. I mean, there are alternative sources out there. I think you also get into the cost to the developer, right? And so some of these low impact design procedures have a higher cost. And so looking at other towns and the way that they've adopted these principles, their ordinances actually speak to that, right? So if the developer can come in and can address that it raises the price of the project by such and such, then it's waived. So that can certainly be built into our decisions, but,
So is it fair to say, Mr. Chair, can I ask, so is it fair to say then that when you say we have to incorporate or take some of the recommendations, that we can word it in such a way that we acknowledge what was said, we put it in there that it would be a nice to have under certain circumstances?
mhm,
That's where we're
That's-
going with this? Okay.
that's where we're going.
So, I mean, I would want to hear, have you talked with Jay Mankara about any of these particular items yet, or?
No, I provided the report. I unfortunately, I didn't realize he wouldn't be here. They have, at NRPC, they have a stormwater consultant who's very good. And I'm happy to call her and have some discussions with her. I think that in all of these areas, there's best practices, right? Your BMPs, your best management practices, and you're trying to incorporate as many as you can into your regulations.
Yeah.
But everybody knows that at the end of the day, you can't double the cost of a project. You can't. We have to be very careful with our stormwater infrastructure. So as much as we can deal with the cleaning of the water and keeping the ultimate end result and not increasing our stormwater infrastructure, that's a save to the town, right?
So I was wondering if you had talked to Jay already, because I would envision this conversation with us to have asked Jay to kind of hone in on those sort of low-hanging fruit, that, those topics or those areas where we could probably be able to update our ordinance in a mindful way, an intentional way, but not one that's, rather burdensome to developers, and then save that other stuff for suggested ideas that, it would be encouraged if they wanted to do that.
I think that's a great start, because I think that Mr. Minkara knows, obviously working as your circuit rider and under your contract, that's probably the best. I think the other concern is working with the road agent on the roads and the driveways and things that fall under, more under the road agent authority with the Board of Selectmen, and then kind of bringing the two together. CEI is our MS4 expert, and then taking whatever we come up with and, giving that to CEI for their review at the end, because they will help us incorporate that into our MS4 report. But if we can do as much of it at our level as possible without CEI having to walk us through it, I think we'll have a better product.
And yeah, looking through, I see definitely a lot of recommendations for permeable surfaces for sidewalks. And I think that might be used in some parts of Europe, but
It's difficult to do in New England.
yeah,
They're difficult to clear,
yeah,
yes.
and it like obviously it's designed to handle the water permeating through it. This could cause some maintenance concerns, because if it's not designed well, it will cause it'll get washed away.
Right.
It'll end up in the drainage ditches after you plow it.
Yeah,
The
so
water will freeze and crack it.
yeah, it'll like if it doesn't have good drainage, it will swell and then crack.
And there are other things, I mean, certainly when you're talking about, especially when you're talking about paving and things like that, there's other things to take into consideration. I mean, if we go, over an acre, we have to ask for a permit from the state, from DES. So there's other rules and things that do work together. Asphalt is one of those areas where it's the necessary evil, right? We all need it, but it doesn't generally help our stormwater infrastructure. And there's ways through natural vegetation and buffers and to work with those surfaces to help. So, I mean, I think probably Mr. Mankara will definitely have some suggestions, and I'm sure that the other towns within NRPC who have already adopted this will have some great ideas that we can learn from as well. So first step.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, looking through, yeah, I can definitely imagine how like rain gardens and stuff like that can help filter out like nitrogen runoff,
Yes.
whereas the current thing just pipes it all to a ditch, basically. So more square footage of greenery can help remove nitrogen before it infiltrates into the ground.
And even, conservation has come up with some great concepts for helping with Dara Pond and, the geese. And those are they're different ideas to help with the stormwater and with the cleaning of our waters that don't involve chemicals and things of that sort. So those are all, and there's innovative ways every day being created. But I would say, looking at the other towns that fall within NRPC's territory that they've probably already worked with will be helpful.
Yeah. Interestingly, it also recommends parking maximums,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interesting requirement, but it would satisfy that requirement. Then there's the question on figuring out appropriate maximums, because we don't want there to be situations where there's half the parking that's necessary, but we also don't want triple the parking that's necessary either. So,
And, we look at businesses like, Mel's. I mean, a lot of their parking is the cornfield. I mean, that's an alternative that doesn't require asphalt but you deal with other situations that make business operations a little bit more difficult but
like they were closed
Trade-offs.
for parts of days due to mud.
definite trade-offs.
Yeah, doesn't fit every situation, but it may work for some situations, and it could be a best practice in others.
Right.
Okay, so I guess the next step is to talk to NRPC and Jay Mankara.
Mm-hmm.
Any further discussion for this item?
We found our summer project.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's gotta be talked about, it's gotta be dealt with, so,
Yeah, some of it we discussed during last year's, style guide
yep,
of the water gardens
yeah,
and other ways of treating
Exactly.
the water before it reaches the.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you so much. If
yeah,
Joan and I talk every day, so she always knows where to reach me. And the road agent has already given me his comments, so when you're ready and you want more discussion, just let us know.
Oh yeah, send that our way. The more information we have, as I'm sitting home doing my reading in preparation for meetings, the
Yeah.
more I have to read, the better informed I'll be when I arrive here.
Certainly, I'll get that to
I
Joan.
agree.
I'll get that to Joe.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Can I come?
So, Joan, maybe, Jay, we could ask Jay in advance of the next meeting, however they want to schedule it, I guess, just to figure out, maybe he can put it into smaller chunks like he did with all the other stuff that we worked on in the last year or two to piece it apart and help us walk through the important points of that, so we can have some meaningful discussion. Because otherwise, we're gonna bite off more than we can chew in any given meeting, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he'll be good at kind of helping us identify what are maybe the practices and ideas that are going to be most applicable to us.
And pacing ourselves through the process.
Yeah, that
It'd be
too.
very good to get the road agent comments to see what his concerns are.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, because a lot of the practices that we may recommend would then be his responsibility
Oh, yeah.
once for maintenance and
Right.
repair and replacement.
Mhm.
And he is not equipped to repair permeable pavement, I'm sure. So,
We've had this discussion at the Moores Falls property.
Okay.
okay. Any further discussion for the MS4 stuff? Nope. Okay. Lastly, we have election of planning board officers. So, Michael Croto is no longer here, and we also lost
Jeremy.
Jeremy. We now no longer have our former chair, and we no longer have our
Clark, I think he was called Clark, yeah.
But I'd like to take a moment and thank both of them, on behalf of the planning board, if you guys are listening. We thank you very much for your service, and we would like to more formally thank you, in particular Michael, for your service to the planning board for the last 15 years, which is pretty substantial commitment to this town.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Indeed, yeah.
There's only one other person that sat on the board longer.
yeah,
That's Joan, and she's knocking 50 years at conservation.
okay.
So Mike needs to come back and sit for a couple more years.
Oh.
But
Well,
yes,
we
I agree.
appreciate very much
They both
the
done a
service
great
to
job.
the town.
Yeah, and he stepped up to chair for years when
Yeah,
no one else stepped up for that position.
so,
So I believe you could also, now that Jeremy is gone, you could appoint Jesse as a full-time member if he's willing also.
So that would probably be a recommendation to the board of selectmen to make him a full-time member
mhm.
in place of a
Yeah, yeah.
now
You could
vacant.
appoint or suggest, and then it'll go to the board, and then the board will approve. But that's something also to consider tonight.
Yeah, Jesse, are you interested in becoming a full-time
Yeah,
voting member?
and I have a clarifying question for you. So, does that change like my term, or does it give you a new term? How does that work?
I think my understanding.
It's a new term.
If you recommend it, then I will put it on the Board of Selectmen's agenda for
Mhm.
Monday night. And then your term will stay the same, but you'll be a full member.
Okay, got it. Thank
But
you.
he doesn't have to get re-sworn in by Terry, right? Because he's still an alternate?
Up to it.
We haven't in the past,
No,
no.
okay.
Okay.
No, only if your term changes, your term ends and.
Then you have to be okay.
Right. And my current term ends March of next year, March of 2027.
Okay. Are you interested in?
But my answer would be yes.
Sounds good. In which case, would someone like to make a motion to recommend?
I was gonna say, I think, Jesse's attendance has been fabulous, and if he's willing to be a member, we'd love to have you as a full member. So I would glowingly endorse you.
We've almost exclusively had you become a voting member almost every time you've
Yeah.
attended.
I've learned a lot in the past year.
So I would make that motion to ask Jesse to move from alternate to full-time member.
I would second
Approval
that.
from the select board.
Yeah, you got my second on that one.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that Jesse gets promoted to a full voting member for the planning board. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Can I cast a vote?
Sure, you can vote for yourself. Why
Unless,
not?
if you want to be a full-time member, yeah.
I'm gonna abstain because
You are on
for the next term.
Yep.
And we have no votes against, so the motion passes 5-0-1. Okay, thanks for
Yeah,
helping out
it's
the board.
Really been an honor and my pleasure to do that for the town.
Okay, so next is planning board officers. So,
Chair, vice chair, and secretary.
so in the past, we have gone periods without a secretary
Yep,
before.
yep.
With the current way things are, I don't think it's too important to elect a secretary.
Yeah, you
Because
have,
I think
you have an
it's on the
admin, so
chair
that
and vice chair.
John kind of fulfills that role.
Yeah, a lot of the admin and the minutes are helpfully taken care of by the staff here. So we just have the chair and vice chair. I'm open to becoming a chair.
I was gonna say, if you're open, I'm making a motion. I in the short time I've been on the planning board, I don't know how the rest of you have more history with this young man here, but I've been impressed with your ability to steer things and understand some complicated topics, frankly, and you're always pretty level-headed. You give everyone their due and to speak up and say things, and I think you serve this town really, really well, and you clearly love it here, and it shows. So I think no better person to make a motion to put into the chair position than Jared O'Connell.
Thank
That'd
you.
be my motion.
So we have,
Second.
okay, so we have a motion to appoint me as chair of the planning board by Letha, and we have a second by Travis. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of making me chair of the planning board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let's run for 15 years now.
You're gonna be around a long time.
Okay, and no opposed, no abstained. So motion passes 6-0-0.
You're gonna be great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're do great. Yeah.
So
We're
yeah,
all here for you.
interestingly, since I joined the planning board, there has been full turnover. So fortunately, we have someone who has prior experience in history, but yes, everyone's new since I joined.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have who wants to be the vice chair and chair the meetings when I'm not here, and Jesse, it's also an option for you because you will, or at least once you're a full-time voting member, if you're interested.
I would look to the two folks over here to my left that have been here for a while. I know, Russ, you have served once before, so I don't know what your feelings are. Travis, I mean, both of you have done excellently since since I've been here. So I don't know who has any idea of wanting it.
It's also
you do a
possible
great
for you to
job.
become
No,
it.
not
I'm sure you would do an even better
Nope.
job. If you have interest, I'd say it's yours. If you're not, I would say I love this town and I love being able to be a part of this board. So I would do it if no one else wanted to. But you're a great guy, so it's yours if you want it.
Come on, Russ.
You'll do a great job at it. I'll teach you everything I know.
All right, I'm gonna need that.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion then. Am I making a motion? Are you not? You're not wanting?
Motion away, I shall second.
Okay. So I make a motion that Travis Tucker will step up into the vice chair position of the planning board. And, yeah, that would be awesome.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Travis Tucker as vice chair of the planning board. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained, motion passes 6-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay,
We've got a good board.
All right.
and I think we are opting to
You
not.
guys are gonna do great.
Of course they are. Of course they are. They love
my
this
support.
town and it shows. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're all here too, so we'll help you.
We're gonna need you guys.
I learned a lot from everyone here.
Yeah.
And then you'll be chair next year.
We're gonna need a recruitment effort for new alternates.
That's a good point.
I think, like, are we missing any full-time members today?
I was
or
gonna
any-
say, do we need to consider more members?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we need more members, because right now we lose,
You have a full
Yeah,
board.
it's
but
difficult
Seven-
when
seven's
people's
full
work
board.
commitments
Seven's
get
a
in
full
the
board
way.
with
Yeah.
alternates or
Yeah.
with?
Without alternates, seven,
Oh,
7 people as full members, 3 people as alternates.
right?
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the bylaws call for.
and that includes the Board of Selectmen's rep, 7?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's basically
Yeah.
6 non,
Yeah, so Steve is our 7th person.
yeah, so we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we need 2 more full-time members. But we're also open to alternates if people
Mhm.
are not.
Wait a minute,
are
The
interested.
selectman
Can't make a
counts
full
in as the seven,
Yeah.
Right.
so you have
But,
6. You need one.
So we need.
One more full.
One more full.
One more
And room for
full-time.
3 alternates.
we have
Yeah.
5 right now, so yeah, we need 6, yeah. So we need 1 more
Right,
full-time
full.
member.
Right.
1 full member and up to 3 alternates.
So the big question is, how do we advertise? Do we put on that big sign out by the
board
town
out
hall
there.
like we normally do and leave it out there for a year and a
You
half
say,
until like
"Hey,
people realize we're
Kim?"
desperate for members?
So unfortunately, we anticipated that this was coming. So it went out in our newsletter last month. It'll go out again this coming month. We're going to look to put something on the town sign and on the transfer station sign. We have 3 boards that we're more concerned about. The planning board, the zoning board, and the recreation commission. So, we've received a couple in, this month, and, but we are really putting it out as much as we can, including on the website. So if anyone has any ideas on other places, that we should post, please let us know, and we will do so, but there is a volunteer application right on the website that people can fill out. Depending on which boards you choose, it will go to Joan and I, or the chair of zoning and I, and we'll get it taken care of right away, so.
I love the newsletter, by the way. I think it's great. I've been telling all my neighbors, and they're like, "We've never seen that." I'm like, "Oh, you got to see it," So I
If
think
they-
it's great. It's a way
informative,
to know
yeah.
what's happening in town, and
Yeah.
you feel connected.
Oh, I'm glad to hear
So-
that. If people sign up for the Litchfield alerts
Yeah.
on the website, then when the newsletter goes out, it will go to your email. And, so we really are trying to push that Litchfield alerts.
Okay.
And we had a great time at the resource fair, everyone was there. In January, we're looking to do that. Spoiler alert to the selectmen. But we already have a date in 27 that they want to do it. And I think that was really good. So we're trying to get information out as best we can. But then we've had a number of people sign up for the town Facebook page. We're really happy to see that. Although we try to cross post over to the Litchfield What's Up. you'll definitely get it faster if you do the town page.
Yeah, and I would say out of all the boards too, if you really want to understand what's going in town, the planning board is the one you want to be on. You know, recreation's great if you want to be involved in recreation and you have young kids and you want to get involved that way. Conservation's great for longevity of the town and also knowing what's going on. But to really have a finger on the pulse of the town, the planning board is really the one that a lot of people ask questions about. What's going here, what's going there, can they do that?
And the zoning board, it may not have, it doesn't have the same commitment, certainly, that they only meet the third Monday. And there are some months they don't have cases, so they may not meet. But it's very, very important, and if you
Yes.
don't have a full board, you can run into statutory problems
Yep.
with not hearing cases, so it's a very important board.
Or simply not having a meeting because there's no quorum. There's a statutory requirement that we meet monthly.
Yes.
Yeah, we seem to have this problem in the summer when people go on vacation sometimes, and then of course in the winters, a number of us have work obligations that just conflicted with travel, and then when you get sick,
Right.
you know.
And I think with the increase of ADUs and the state allowing everybody to have an ADU, the zoning board's gonna be challenged a lot, so
Yeah.
we do have to build that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a long-term member. Mr. Devereaux, thank you very much to him. But, he's served a very long time. So,
He's stepping down this year, isn't he?
he is, yeah.
So how many members of the ZBA are there?
Currently, there's
Steve Perry's
4.
stepping down too.
Yeah, so one became a selectman.
Selectman.
There'll be 3 left, Mr., or 4.
Maybe
So
3.
needed.
I think.
I think
George,
after,
Laura, and
and, oh gosh,
I can picture
Zach.
his-
Yeah.
Yes,
Zachary.
I can picture his face, but I can't.
yes.
And I would say, for anyone out there who's interested in, planning and development in a town in general, that the zoning board is a really great place to start because, there are very defined criteria
Yes.
under which you operate. It's very black and white,
Mhm.
It's either in or it's out. And they follow that code and it really helps you understand, what you need to abide by. So I find that if you have no experience in that area and you're looking to volunteer in town, I would recommend to start there first and then move to the planning board eventually. But I think that we could probably use the help in zoning.
And we're very fortunate to have a very educated and experienced chair
Yeah.
on that board. But I agree, if you learn all the zoning ordinances and everything, it's a great
That's true.
kind of
Yeah.
step to
Yeah.
come here and be able to use those, so. It's a very important board that unfortunately I think gets overlooked sometimes.
Agreed.
But, so, anytime, Joan, or I, if you have any ideas, shoot us.
I think the physical sign, I think 2 of the members here saw that sign and it encouraged them to apply.
Oh,
Very clear. It wore me down. And my husband kept saying to me, "Don't
Go,
do it.
go,
You're
go."
retired. Don't do it." Don't do it. I'm like, but they need someone. So, you did have
signs
that
going up
effect on
tomorrow.
me.
It's gonna flash now.
It doesn't work on everybody.
Yeah,
but
we
I
need a flashing sign, we really need.
had major guilt as I drove by every day.
Everyone has an internal clock, right? And
Yeah,
it
right.
has how long yours is. And
Yeah.
when I saw the sign, like, oh, it's still there. It's still
Yeah.
I buy it. It's still there.
They did that to me in 2012.
Same thing, huh?
Yeah.
They
Same bait.
gotcha.
Then it works, right? The sign
It
works.
works.
It's
I guess it
central area,
does.
it works.
The old analog
Yeah.
way of doing things is
Well,
just fun.
thank you very much and congratulations both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Any further discussion regarding the election of planning board officers?
Nope.
Okay. Next, we have committee reports. So I think that would mainly be Board of Selectmen rep.
Sure. So from Board of Selectmen, obviously, we had the elections. I was reelected. Steve Perry was elected. Dr. Kim Queenan has stepped down. Our first meeting with Steve would be next week. Thankfully, the majority of the ballot was approved, especially the budget and the police. There's a couple items, I would say personally, I think more get approved than I was anticipating. All the school warrant articles get approved as well. So that's going to help us out next year as we move forward and try to set the plan going forward. I would say one of the things we all kind of agree on is next year there cannot be 28 items on the ballot. You know, it was 4 pages. It was just too much. People got analysis paralysis reading it. But as you went down through the votes, you could tell people were actually reading it, because I expected them to go down halfway through and then just say, no, you know, I'm done reading. But the way the votes went, you could tell that they actually read it and understood. I did see a lot of people walking around with the voter's guide, and they used that as a basis, so they knew what they wanted to do, so they did the homework, they came prepared. Next step for me, I'm not sure. We will also reappoint towards boards at our next meeting. I'm more than happy to stay on the planning board, but we also like to give other members opportunities to rotate through. So if I'm here, great. If not, it's been great working with you folks. I'm not far away. I have definitely learned a lot on this board, and I've enjoyed it. And if there's an opportunity for me to stay, I will. We'll leave it up to the board next week.
Yeah, Steve Perry's, he's spoken to us, I think, a few times regarding.
Yes.
So-
He's served on this board. He's chaired this board. He's
He's been in town for a while.
Yeah.
He was on ZBA until just now. He
He was a
the
selectman a while ago, wasn't he?
selectman at one
Yeah.
point. He was the town moderator. Yeah,
Yep.
he's been involved for a long time.
he has a lot of experience.
A lot of experience, very level-headed, very logical. I think it's going to be a good year working with Steve.
Sounds good. And yeah, looking at the ballot items for the zoning that we proposed, it looks like the one that got voted down the most, but still passed, was the one regarding the funds for public works facilities, and I think that's probably just confusion, because
that wasn't worded, I don't.
it's just allowing us to
Doesn't
spend
happen.
money we collected on public works facilities.
Yeah, it's. But it people I think read that as, oh, they're asking for money. No, it's
Yeah.
just it's the way it's allocated from impact fees are gonna.
Yeah, it's money that comes from impact fees, which are from new construction. I think there's definitely some confusion there in how that was communicated. Do we have any other committee reports?
April 2nd is the Conservation Commission will hold elections also.
Who was on the, Michael was on a whole bunch of committees.
He's staying on
Do stay
Conservation.
on conservation. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, aren't we supposed to put people at different places?
We don't have to.
Lower Merrimack, I think, has two, and NRPC has representatives.
Lower Mac River Advisory.
Yeah,
or
that's
Watershed
still
Advisory.
Michael too, right?
Do we have any NRPC representative positions that will need to be
I don't know,
filled
I have to,
anytime
I'll
soon?
check on that.
I think Dr. Queen is staying on with
Yeah.
the NRPC.
Okay,
And there was somebody else, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, I don't remember the second person.
so maybe we can figure that out for next meeting or something, because
I think Michael.
we don't
Carr-
wanna be.
Sounds
either
like you're looking for more work to
ill-informed
do.
or- No, I don't wanna be, I don't like surprises, so,
Yeah.
when we sit here and we're asking people questions, and I don't wanna find out after the fact that, oh, well, somebody already talked about that on the selectmen's thing or whatever, I don't like that, so I think we'd be better served if we know what's going on in the other
Yeah.
committees or groups, so I don't know, and we can make a judgment call on, I guess I would look to you two to make a judgment call on where you think we should place ourselves, if necessary.
Was
Yeah.
Mike on the
CIP,
NRPC?
he's on the CIP, he's on Limerlac, Lower Merrimack,
Oh, Merrimack, okay, yeah.
and I don't think he's on
I remember
NRPC.
seeing that.
It's Kim Queen and somebody else, I don't know the name, but I'll find out.
Okay, so I think, yeah, we don't have as many people on committees anymore. So,
It's not committee related, Mr. Chair, but I, like several of you, I was at the polls, I worked the polls on, Election Day. And I was pleased to see, didn't we have like 1,500 people
Yeah,
who come out to vote? I was
1,700?
shocked.
17.
Is that what it came out to be?
1,700, was that the
17.
final?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was only expecting like 1,300. There have been March meetings where, it's, you know.
We have
had really
6,000
low
registered
numbers.
voters, though, don't forget.
No,
But
no,
this
I
is a
know
town
that,
election.
but town elections, you
Yeah.
get hardly anyone, so I was really pleased to see, you know,
It's
that
interesting
many.
to see behind the scenes on what actually happens too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how late you stay and,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. I went home, my knees hurt,
I was
my
gonna
feet
say,
had blisters.
you were there all day.
Yeah,
I was
we
only
get
there
home
half
about
a day.
10:30.
It's a long day,
Yeah, it's a real long, you were there all day too. Crazy.
especially on a 73-degree day. It was a long
Yeah, oh, I know, that was hard.
But it's definitely something like I would encourage everybody here and even on TV, if you
Yeah.
want to volunteer a little and
Yeah.
understand more about the process, it's interesting. Could always use the help. We had the young gentleman behind the camera spent the day there as well.
I was gonna say, he and I were at a table together. It was
Yes.
kinda nice. I got to meet a younger person in Litchfield. It was great. So anyone out there who wants to work for, on the polls or wants to volunteer during
Every year,
elections,
same time.
see Terry Briand, who's our town clerk.
Yep.
She'll hook you up and get you all, you know, oath and all that good stuff, and
Yeah, Terry was reelected as town clerk and she's been, it'll be 20 years.
very cool. Okay, do we have any other business for this evening?
Just the minutes.
Yes, so.
But that meeting was canceled, was it not?
We have the February 3rd
March-
minutes.
the March
ones
3rd.
before that.
Meeting was canceled. These are the February minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
because on
okay.
March
Would have been
3rd, we
approved
would
March
have,
3rd.
we would
Yeah.
have approved them, yeah.
I thought I read it as March.
Yeah, these are February 3rd.
Yeah, I gave it a look and I didn't notice any problems. Has everyone else had a chance to?
Yeah, they looked good to me.
I was fine
Yeah,
with them.
there's, in section 1(3)A, appointment of alternate members, my first name is misspelled. It should be Jessie.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
Are we?
Yes, Jessie.
Oh, yeah.
Missing an I.
There's another thing that I forget if I stated it properly in the prior meeting, but like the previous contamination threshold was 70 parts per million probably, or parts per billion, I forget, but I didn't specify a unit for the PFAS. And then it says noting that levels had been below it but now be approaching it. The levels are now approaching the new lower requirement, which
What
is
page
like,
are you on?
this is on the beginning of page 3.
Okay.
I think we could clarify it by saying Mr. O'Connell referenced a previous contamination threshold of 70, noting that levels are below it, but now may be approaching the the new lower threshold of, I think it's 10. I can look up the current threshold. Yeah, 12 parts per trillion for PFOA. So you can clarify by saying the new lower threshold of 12. Because it's nowhere near 70. I think I remember the last testing was like 10 parts per million. or parts per trillion. Any other items from the that needed to be amended in the February 3rd minutes? Okay.
Yep.
In which case, would someone like to make a motion to approve them as amended?
So moved.
Okay. We have a motion.
Second?
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the February 3rd, 2026 minutes as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed and abstained?
I'm gonna abstain. I don't remember if I was there or not.
Well, the minutes will tell you.
I don't think I was.
You were absent. Okay, motion passes 5-0-2. Okay. Any other business for this evening? Okay. I guess, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, abstained, motion passes 6-0-0. Okay, thank you for watching the March 17th meeting of the planning board. When will the next meeting be?
The first
April
Tuesday.
The 7th.